Hey there, creative souls. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm very happy that you're here. In this video, I'll be talking about how you can use the full moon in Aries on October 17th to benefit your writing practice. This time I consulted astrologer Nadia Shah. I'll put links to her channel and to her video about the full moon in Aries in the description. First, a quick update about the Alchemy of Writing course. I'm now in the process of creating scripts for recording. I've completed the script for the intro and module 1, so I have modules 2, 3, and 4 left. In a perfect world, I would get those finished this week and then do the recording next week. So we will see how that goes. I'm giving it my very best effort. And don't forget, you can get the entire course for free. It will normally be $188. You can get it for free by joining the Alchemy of Writing membership group. And it's still at the founding member price of $18 a month, and that comes with a 10-month commitment from your registration date. After the course is live and available, the price will go up to $28 a month with a 7-month commitment from your registration date. And I'll put links to everything associated with the group, a freebie that you can get that's a distillation of the course, and other things that might be helpful to you. So be sure and check out the description. So real quick, for those of you who don't know me, my name's Johnny. I'm a retired adjunct writing professor, and I teach fiction writing and screenwriting to adults in custody. I call myself a word witch, and I believe I'm on this earth to heal the world through stories, whether it's the ones that I write and tell or the ones that I help you write and tell. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, for liking and sharing my videos. And there's a new feature I hear that's coming up, if it's not already here, called hyping, which means you can help newer channels like mine with low subscribers get a good boost. So if you see the hype button down below, please hype my videos every now and then. I'm not asking you to do it every time, all the time, because my understanding is that users can hype 3 times a week. So, be strategic about how you use your hypes. But if you are so inclined, I would appreciate it very much. Because as my channel grows, so does my success in creating a community of like-minded souls who embrace the power of story to heal. So now let's get to the full moon in Aries. Typically, full moons are about culmination, and they can be about admitting truths to ourselves. And because this full moon is in Aries, the first sign of the zodiac, there's also this vibe of possibility and bright beginnings. We might have an enhanced awareness of our own abilities, our own power. We might feel an amplification of those things. So my wish for you with this energy is that you will hit a really strong and long flow streak, that the words will just come easily, that you'll love what you write, and you'll make so much progress. You will see yourself as the dedicated writer that you are. To compound or fortify that energy, the sun is trining Jupiter the Sunday before the full moon. So I'm recording this on Monday, I think the 14th. So just yesterday, the sun trined Jupiter. But remember, these energies, they're not in this contained little moment of time. They continue. And so we can benefit from them for days, sometimes even weeks, depending, after they have occurred. Nadia says that this is a supremely harmonious time, and the sun trining Jupiter is second only to the sun meeting Jupiter, which happened very recently, and which is considered by astrologers the happiest day of the year. So think about Sunday as the second luckiest day of the year. Did I just say happiest or luckiest? I meant luckiest, but hopefully it's a happiest too. And the sun and Jupiter are connecting in air signs. So this can mean a lot of synchronicity, which is always cool when we have that benefit. And it can be about chance encounters with other people that might help us change things up a little bit. It's a time that ushers in real possibilities and real opportunities. Think of it as a breakthrough energy. So we stand a very good chance of seeing rewards from the things that we have had faith in for a period of time. And so this allows us to possibly embrace the idea that there is always something more to look forward to in life. And this might mean that you find the perfect writing group or some other kind of group that feeds your writing practice. It might mean you find the very best agent or small press for your novel. Or maybe you find a writing buddy that you can exchange work with and give each other feedback. I just found one of those myself, and I'm very happy about that. It's really helpful to have a person that you trade work with and then discuss, because it can get very isolating, right? As a writer, sitting in your own little bubble, getting all those words on the page, we can get so in our heads about things that it's really nice to kind of give our stories when they're in progress some breath and to get some reader feedback, to give us perspective. There's also some tension being created right now with Mars, good old Mars. You can always count on Mars to stir things up. So there's a T-square configuration happening between the sun, the moon, and Mars. So one thing, a little digression here, I want to refer back to the most recent video I made about the new moon and all that darkness that Kaipacha talked about. That has not passed. That is still here. We're still in this, there's like this long process that's happening where we're going into the underworld. And the way Kaipacha puts it is, I'll put a link to his stuff too for this full moon and everything else that's coming up, because he talks about when Aphrodite sent, what's her name? I'm spacing it out right now. If you know who I'm talking about, can't believe this. If you know who I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But Aphrodite sent somebody down to the underworld to meet up with Persephone. So this darkness that we've been talking about with all these planetary configurations right now, and this kind of period that everybody is in, sort of getting down to our own darkness, our individual darkness, and our collective darkness, so that we can do what Aphrodite sent what's her name down to do, and that was to find a box. So this whole thing we're in right now is about going through the darkness to find the beauty that we've yet to uncover. Think of the box as beauty. So we have this really big, kind of challenging in some ways, dark experience happening, and kind of around the edges of it are some of these more hopeful things that I'm talking about in this video today. And I'll talk more in just a minute about the balance that we can get from all of this. All right, so back to this full moon. Nadia also talks about a couple of very important asteroids that are at play right now. So one of them is Juno. So the sun will be hand in hand with Juno. Juno is Jupiter's wife. The story goes that Juno was very critical of herself and her environment. She had an awareness around things that brought discontent. So if something wasn't working quite right in her environment, she could see it and she would call it out. So I like to think of her as being aware and outspoken about what was not working around her. And because she's a woman, of course, her ability to spot these inefficiencies and point them out earned her this label of critical. So do with that what you will. This energy might help you get clearer about aspects of your writing practice and your writing life, things that maybe aren't working quite right. In the Alchemy of Writing course, I talk about getting clear about how your environment impacts your writing practice, your ability to write. So now might be a good time to give that some thought. What's working, what isn't, what can you change? The moon is also close to Chiron right now, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So wounds might get exposed at this time. You might be feeling more vulnerable than usual. You might feel that others know too much about you. I feel that way all the time, so this will be interesting for me. But as I always say, channel that into your writing. Writing itself can uncover wounds inside us, and it can also heal them. It's one of the reasons I love writing so much. And the asteroid Fortuna is also getting involved in all of this right now. And as you might guess, Fortuna is all about good fortune. So think about the wheel of fortune in the tarot. It's always spinning, always moving, and it's really a sign that things can change quickly. Anything and everything can change quickly at any moment. So you may be feeling stuck, and maybe you've been stuck for a while, and then my guess is if you really sink into this energy and make sure your environment is such that you can write and it's not impeding your progress, my guess is that you will really take off right now with something that you've possibly been stuck on. So Nadia said sometimes this type of energy can make us want to kind of just sit back and relax, but with this Mars T-square, it will keep us aware and keep things moving, focusing on the person that we will become so that we can attain our goals and dreams. One thing I do when I work with people is to ask them, who will you be when your novel is finished, when it's published, when it's on bookshelves, and you're out in the world doing tours, doing book signings and readings? Who will you be then? Because that will change you. If we're going to achieve our goals and our dreams, we have to be able to envision how reaching them will change us and start being that person now. So who is that? Who will you be when your novel is out in the world? Do you view yourself as a legit writer? So really think about this. And if you don't, think about why that might be. What stories have you told yourself? What stories have others told you that you've believed that make you think you're not a legit writer? And if you don't feel that you are, what can you change in your practice, in your environment, in your self-talk the things that you say to yourself so that you can view yourself as a legitimate writer. And again, in the Alchemy of Writing course, I spend an entire module talking about this. And I do that because this is one area that really trips people up and can stop them in their tracks, is the self-talk, their perspective or their mindset about writing and themselves as a writer. So one thing too that's going on right now is because Jupiter's in the mix, it invites us to dream really big, to really go for it. So don't hold back in your daydreams about your success as a writer. Think of it like this. With Jupiter and Mars both getting involved right now, know that things can get better by taking action. So what kinds of action can you take in your writing practice so that you can see those big dreams materialize? Remember also that the full moon helps us see the truth. And Nadia says that with this one in particular, we might see a truth about something that's been frustrating or upsetting us. So we might find ourselves in that unsettling yet kind of refreshing place where an old thing is passing. We are leaving it behind, and we don't know yet what the new thing is. So it's this interesting kind of juxtaposition of excitement and looking forward, but then also an uncertainty and an unsettled feeling because we just don't know what's to come. So think of this as a connection to your own truth about yourself, about your writing, about your life, and how does that all impact your writing practice? What do you need to get honest with yourself about? Are you trying to force something that isn't working? Do you need to reconsider a character and their part in your novel? I think it wasn't until the third draft of my novel that I realized I needed to get rid of one of the characters that I liked a lot. And I don't mean have her in the story and then kill her off. I mean, I had to completely eliminate her from the story. And what I had to do was then fold the characteristics that I loved from that character into my protagonist, Miranda. Because in my efforts to give Miranda something to overcome and transform, I had made her too weak. I hadn't given her enough agency. And so by folding the qualities of this other character that I called Spring into Miranda, I made her a more sympathetic character. Nadia says that whatever disappointments we may have experienced, there's now a sense of things working out to our advantage. So even though we are still, as a humanity as a whole, is in this place of kind of a great big massive redo, that diving down deep into the dark to find that box of beauty, we have a sense that it's going to work out, or at least that's what the energies and the cosmos are giving us right now. So we might be extra aware of this sense of possibility. And I hope you embrace this and really run with it in your writing practice. Envision that anything is possible. I wake up every day thinking this could be the day that. So fill in the blank for yourself. And it doesn't have to be just one thing. Is it that this could be the day that I hear back from an agent and I sign a deal? Is it this could be the day that I get a yes for that short story that I've been sending out? And really, really believe it. Like, see it happening, feel what that feels like when it happens, and keep believing in it even when you feel like you don't have a good reason to. And especially right now, revisit this phrase several times a day. Say it to yourself several times a day. This could be the day that. Venus is also in the mix this week, and according to Nadia, it's making all kinds of connections. And she points out that while the full moon is about the self, Venus is about interacting with others. So we could get to some truth about what the heart wants. So what does your heart want in relation to your writing? What does your heart want when it comes to your characters, those other people that you interact with? And is what you want for them what they want for themselves? And do you have them going about getting that thing they want in a way that feels right to them, in a way that fits them and their temperament and their situation and their psychological makeup? This is also about looking at your relationship with prosperity and the things that you genuinely enjoy. So how do you view prosperity in relation to your writing? Is it about making money writing? Is it about being prolific and doing lots of writing, creating lots of stories, lots of novels? Or is it about the fulfillment that writing brings you? Or maybe all of the above, or something else? To build on this even more, Venus will also be positioned across from Uranus. So this happens once every year, and it can bring surprises. So remember that Uranus is about disruption and radical change, even rebellion sometimes. So these surprises could be around love and desire and pleasure and our understanding of prosperity. Uranus can be honest, blatantly honest, and this can be jarring for some people. So be on the lookout for some solid, maybe even harsh truths. And if that isn't enough, Venus will be hanging out with Neptune and Pluto also. And Nadia says that Neptune is considered a higher vibration of Venus. So if Venus is about love and joy, in part. Neptune is about universal love and compassion, and even sacrifice. And Neptune is dreamy, so you might have this sense of fantasy, of a dream coming true, or even bliss. And then along comes Pluto, connecting with Venus to follow up on all of this other stuff that's going on, which can intensify that blissful feeling. So my wish for you, may you turn a corner of some kind. May you have a breakthrough of some kind. And then Venus moves into Sagittarius on Thursday, out of Scorpio. So these two are very different energies, Sag and Scorpio. Scorpio is nitty gritty, can be down and dirty, loves the darkness. It's about being willing to go to the depths for whatever is needed. So maybe you've been plunging down into the depths of your psyche to write something. And then Sag is uber hopeful. It's over the top. It's overly abundant. And with that, there might be a tendency to go overboard. So strive for balance. Take care of yourself. And if you have a great big flow streak, do your best to still get some sleep rather than staying up all night and writing. It's tempting, I know, when that happens, but give thought to how you want to spend your indulgences right now. And if you're indulging in something that's taking you away from your writing, like if alcohol is something that you do, and no judgment if you do, or if weed is something that you do, again, no judgment. If you're doing it to the extent that it's interfering with your writing, maybe, it's up to you, but maybe you want to think about that and think about how overindulging is impacting your writing practice. And back to the staying up all night and writing. If you have a schedule that allows you to sleep in and get caught up on your sleep, then by all means do it. But there's nothing like getting run down and sleep deprived and then trying to function in our normal day-to-day lives. And then Mercury is showing up early in the week to create some tension with Pluto before moving into Scorpio. So remember that Mercury is about information. It's about thought. It's about the way we think. It's about writing and communication and all of that. So this might come in the form of news or information received. Nadia frames it as detective work. And this also could stir up some deep truths in the collective, so for all of us. But for you personally, are you maybe doing research for your novel? Is it possible that something you hear in the news will impact your story or your writing? You know, and going back to this idea of overindulgence, are you overindulging with research? Research is a great excuse for many writers to not write. Of course, we have to do research sometimes, but if we just get nice and comfy and cozy in that research mode, where it gets to be addictive and it's keeping us from actually applying it to the writing, then that can be a problem. Another way to think about this energy is, who are you keeping company with, and how do they make you feel? Do they speak to you in a way that feels dismissive or demeaning to you? Really take care of yourself around this. Right now, for sure, but always. If possible, stay away from them. If it isn't possible, do what you need to do to keep yourself feeling safe and secure. By understanding what we can and cannot control in certain situations and with certain people, can help us gain more clarity about how to take care of ourselves. So this is about getting to a place of acceptance in a way. It's about a turning point of some kind. It's about having a realization about how, oh, that thing or that person affects me in this way, and I need to do something about it. Because if this is something they've been doing over and over and over, they're not going to change. That was one of the most liberating things for me in life, was to realize certain people, they are who they are. They are not going to change. And so then that gives me all the information I need about what I need to do for myself. So if you have someone in your life who sabotages your writing time, who always finds a reason to interrupt you, or someone who belittles your writing, or the fact that you even want to write or believe you can, if they downplay it as some frivolous activity that you do, put them in their proper place, or put yourself in your proper place in relation to them. If you're in a writing group or a writing class that isn't being run well, if people are allowed to be snide and to ridicule each other, it's time for a turning point. It's time to find people and places that truly support you. And I also covered this in depth in the Alchemy of Writing course. You know that saying, you are what you eat? If what you're eating is people around you who are not supportive of you, and people can be supportive with their words and not their actions. So really think about that. Then use this energy as the turning point that it is and make some swift and radical changes. So if some of this and all this talk about having to go into the darkness to find the beauty, if all that feels just too heavy or too conflict-ridden or too disappointing, keep in mind that the Sun trining Jupiter is this absolutely lovely vibration in the midst of all this other chaos that aligns us with luck. And this luck can be rooted in our deciding to view circumstances from a place of optimism. asking the question, what good can come of this? Or how can I make this better for myself? Knowing now what I know, recognizing what I now recognize. All in all, creative souls, the energy is good right now. Maybe a little tricky here and there, but good. Because even hard times, when we think about the darkness that we've talked about, even those times can be good. They might be hard, but they can be good because they're helping us create significant change to get to that box, right? That beauty that's within us so that we can create. We need both. We need the darkness and the beauty. I hope you are able to see the fruition of some of your plans and dreams and desires in your writing life, and that the next couple of weeks and beyond are filled with plentiful and productive prosperity, whatever that means to you. As always, I send you mad writing mojo. Happy writing.